I have been a cardiac nurse for nearly 10 years and I want to quit. I want to quit. I'm done. And here's a few reasons why. So we're going to get into it in this video. First off, I think that there's a lot of value and I appreciate the field and what it has offered me. I did another video explaining how and why I got into it. So if you want the good stuff, go watch that. But these are the reasons why I'm personally want to leave the field. So back in 2018, I had my first spiritual awakening about other shit that is starting to happen. And then so I'm waking up to myself, waking up to my mind, body, spirit connection, waking up to how all of that connects and how that a lot of our mental and spiritual issues or problems then travel into the body. And that is the issues or the symptoms that we're physically seeing. So then we try to treat these sometimes not so physical issues with physical solutions, and it doesn't work. So, anyways, that was the beginning. And then 2020 hit. We all know what that was. And it showed me again more of how we're just giving a lot of things that aren't necessarily helpful. So at the end of the day, I have learned in several different hospitals. I mean, this is nothing new or earth shattering. But at the end of the day, our hospitals in the United States is business, and it's a business first. They need to stay in business. They need to make money. And this can go into the whole different pharmaceutical companies and all that kind of stuff, but we won't get too far. Won't get too far down the rabbit hole. So I started seeing more of this play out within my experiences as a nurse and then with my patients of it's operating as a business. So therefore we have not maybe the correct supplies, not really the best supplies, not really the best solutions for our patients. It's kind of oh, this is the cheaper version, or oh, this is what we can work with. And I just started seeing this different disconnect within myself, within my field for the first time. I felt like we weren't doing everything that we could do to help this person heal from X, Y, and Z. So I have been, my whole career I've been in cardiac. So I typically am focused on issues of the heart and all these different symptoms that can come up with irregular heart rhythms or heart failure or blockages in the heart, all these things. So within this journey, I have learned about different holistic modalities. I learned about energy. I learned about food. I learned about toxins within our environment and our food or our products. And there's just a whole lot of layers, right, that affect our health and well-being. And when I was in the cardiac, I was in cardiothoracic ICU, which in that area of nursing, you're specifically helping people either, have a bypass, unblock the blockages. And that was a primary focus. But then what I started to notice is that people would come back a second and third time. They'd need a second and third triple bypass. So anyways, I was thinking, okay, we're temporary putting band-aids on these things, on these problems that people have. And then they continue to be in the environments or the emotions or the lifestyle that they are living. And then they have to come back and get it again. So it seems like a very yo-yo situation. It feels like that bad ex that you keep coming back to, but it's bad for you. And you don't make the decision to change and do the other thing. You just keep coming back when you need it, when you need a hit. And so that's when it kind of started to feel for me, where it's we weren't in the whole system wide itself. It didn't feel like we were really helping people kind of get out of the disease process that they were in, or help their lifestyle, talk about their stress or their emotions. I mean, the heart is all about the heart chakra, how you're feeling. Are you dealing with your emotions? Are they trapped? So I started to dive into this, right? Like I started to explore more of this for myself and then see it within my patients play out. And so then that led me to in 2022, 2022, I took a break from nursing and went to Asia for a year. Went to Kundalini yoga teacher training, explored all these different modalities of breath work and yoga and somatic work, dance, like, all this stuff to be like, okay, like fuck the West. It's all about the East. It's all about this stuff. Like this is how we heal. Like why aren't these people more sick? And why are we over here? And so then circle back, a year later, I have realized that it's like this merging of, there's good in both. But a lot of things that I feel day to day that I'm doing, like as a nurse, providing medication over and over of things that I don't necessarily believe in that I think are harming us more than helping us. They're putting like, essentially, from my personal experience, they are helping one symptom, but then give you 5 more symptoms. So then you take another pill, then that helps that symptom, but then you get 5 more symptoms. So it just felt like this domino effect that I was just like partaking in. Like I was not harming people, but I felt like I wasn't as helpful for people in the way that I would want to help them like actually heal. So this is where I started to get like this dissonance within myself of like, okay, I'm in this field, but I don't fully believe in the way that we're doing things in the field because I think we separate we don't even talk about like really mind, body, spirit connection within Western medicine and in my experience. We might have a chaplain that you can call on to be like, hey, like, do you need help with like processing something? But that's like the extent of it. There is no integration. And a lot of the industry is just very separate. Like, okay, we've got this doctor for this doctor for this doctor for this. And it's really difficult to have all of that come together and integrate for people. Granted, there's different fields that are more holistic in this sense, but this is like just regular floor nursing that I have experienced and why I want to leave. So this is the disconnect that I had felt. And I was okay, right. So I have 10 plus years of experience doing this. Like, what would I do instead? So that's kind of where I'm at in my exploration. There's different things that I could do that could feel more resonant. So that's like what I'm here to explore, what I'm here to share on my journey. And this coincides with like this very personal development, personal like discovery of myself. Like, okay, I have identified being a nurse and being in this sector, right? This like whole industry that's been part of my identity. That's been part of like my discovery within myself. I've learned a lot about myself, feel very thankful for a lot of things. But then now, what does it mean to allow myself to discover a different aspect of me that doesn't identify as a nurse? And this is kind of sometimes we get in that trap of like, well, I've been doing this for so long. Like, what am I going to do instead? Or, I have all of this experience or all of this knowledge in this. Like, it would be a waste of time to go to do this. But in reality, like the contract might be up, like that you might have signed up to do that just for X amount of time, but it's might be time for you to go do something else. So that's kind of like where I feel with like the permission where I'm giving myself to be like, you know what, you learned a lot. Maybe you've learned all your lessons from this chapter. And then now it's time to go do something else. What's the next 10 years? What do you want to go be a beginner at and do something different? What is a different aspect maybe within the field that you can go explore that feels more resonant? And it's permission to give yourself like that change point where it's just like, okay, even though I've been doing this or I've been this way for so long, does not mean that I have to keep doing it this way. I have to keep being this way or keep working this way. It's permission to discover something different about yourself. So hopefully that hits or resonates with you. If you've enjoyed this video, or you feel like a little bit of a spark or a little something, or if you've made it this far from the video, please give me a thumbs up or a comment. Subscribe to the channel if you're feeling like you want to continue on with my journey. And I appreciate you being here. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Remember, be alien and stay weird.